Hey guys, what's up? It's Kate here, and welcome back to the channel. So recently, I definitely have taken a little step back and really noticed just how much my habits and daily routines do affect my overall mood and just the way that I show up for myself, especially during the workday. And there have been a few things recently that I have really wanted to improve on. Just there's been some habits that I keep telling myself I'm going to do, and I never follow through. So I really wanted to just kind of challenge myself and give myself the opportunity to see what could happen if I fully showed up for myself for the next 7 days. And I really just want to make some action on, building my dream life. I think that is so important in terms of not feeling stuck and just adding a little bit more inspiration into your life. So yeah, I really hope that this video motivates you and you enjoy. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up and subscribe, join the fam. That is pretty much it. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So I have my iced coffee with me today because we are going to have a little bit of a chat, essentially about what it means to lock in. Grab a beverage to kind of romanticize this process and enjoy. So I wanted to kind of take a moment to backtrack and really reflect on what it means to lock in, because I feel like that can mean so many different things to many people. And honestly, that's very fair because we all have our preferences and just our views on life, and I am so open to that. To me personally, locking in just essentially means that you are doing whatever you can to adjust your daily routine and the way that you go about your life to just make sure you're showing up as the best version of yourself and you're just very disciplined in what you set out to do. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I do have a few things that I have really been wanting to incorporate more into my life. Just map out a vision of what your best and highest self would look like. Think about how they would wake up in the morning, what they would do before bed, and all of the rituals that they would consistently do to take care of themselves and make sure that they're, confident and glowing. For me, that would be not using my phone before going to bed and instead choosing to read a few verses in my Bible, or also just waking up in the morning and, not going on my phone for the first 2 hours instead of immediately reaching over for it and turning off my alarm and then scrolling through Instagram, which honestly just does not provide any helpful energy. So I'm really trying to adjust that and make small improvements. So once you have a general vision or idea of what you want your best self to look like, I think that the next step moving forward would be to really just say a good solid prayer to the Lord and just ask Him to bless all of your goals and visions that you have for your life. So I personally feel like if I didn't have Him in mind, I just wouldn't be as specific with what I really want to set out to achieve. So I definitely think that is helpful in terms of building on your spiritual health and just making sure that you are keeping your values in set when you set out to achieve, whatever it is that you're looking to do. I think we can all agree that keeping promises to yourself and remaining disciplined in your goals is probably one of the hardest parts about locking in. Something that has really helped me is just reminding myself if I set out to achieve a goal and I, decide one day that I'm not going to follow through with one of the most important steps of getting there, then I really kind of am, just letting myself down, and that just isn't helpful for maintaining relationships with others, because then they can kind of see that you aren't really, taking care of yourself and your body's needs and keeping up with that. So I also do think that making decisions for yourself now and making sure that they are effective for the future you is also a huge reminder of why you should actually follow through with going to the gym and eating a little bit better. And I actually was listening to the For You from Eve podcast the other day, and that is where I got that little tidbit of information from. I just thought that is a great way to make sure that you are staying on top of, avoiding making excuses and things like that. I really do think that it is huge if you can have some key themes to focus on when it comes to going about your day-to-day life. I have 4 Gs that I have put in place to make sure that I'm not letting any extra outside stress cause more chaos in my life than I actually need. So I have God at the top of my list because faith is something that is so important to me. I really want to make sure that I live out everything that I do based around the Word of God, and that I'm, spending time in my Bible and in prayer. I think that is just so important for having a stable guidance in your life. I want to just make sure that I'm living a minimal, appreciative lifestyle. Really just want to wake up every day, be thankful that I have a roof over my head so that I'm not constantly looking to buy a new outfit or something on Amazon that I genuinely really don't need. I also have girlfriends as number 3, and I really do think that I have been doing a great job with this in terms of, building my life up again when it comes to moving to a new state. I have been meeting so many different people and having so many healthy conversations about values and faith and just, experiences that everyone has had. And I really do love that about the new place that I'm living in. So I'm really just trying to, prioritize the people that I spend my time with and just make sure that it is effective for my mental health, which brings us to growth. So I also want to focus on becoming the best that I can be and learn so much about just how the mind works and how to kind of like rewire your thoughts so that you are staying positive and optimistic throughout the day. That is definitely something that I would recommend incorporating into your life just to make sure that you are on the right track with your goals and all of that. Making ordinary moments seem a little bit more magical and romanticized is also something that I have been just incorporating to boost my mood and really help me feel like I am not just, again, going through the same day in and day out. Something that I have really been trying to do is put on some cozy ambiance on the TV if I am journaling so that I can just really envision myself in that type of, atmosphere, or get flowers on a Saturday morning and just take some time to make a cute bouquet, because creativity is also one of my values and something that I really want to just incorporate into my life more. And I also do think that you can even just use anything that you already have. You don't have to buy anything new to make your life feel more special. Setting some time before work to practice manifestation is something that I also have found to be so important when it comes to going about my day-to-day life and envisioning positive scenarios occurring instead of fearing the worst. I really do think that this does help me when it comes to, not being anxious or on edge that I'm going to make a mistake at work, especially if things get a little bit busy. So I really do think this has grounded me in just making sure that I'm confident in my own abilities. Something that I've also really been working on during this season of life is getting very clear and specific and locking in on what my personal values are in life. I feel like it is so important to just keep that in mind, because that's pretty much the only way that you can, keep track of your relationships and your friendships with people. Just make sure that you are really utilizing your time to the best of your ability. I think that is just one way to honor God, is to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who have similar faith as you, but also just having a little bit of grace when it comes to someone else's beliefs and making sure that you are open and receptive. So I really just personally want to lock in by getting to know myself a little bit better, spend some more journaling time, just reflecting on who I really am deep down. I think that will be so important in just how I move forward in the future. It says a whole lot more if you work on your progress and just go off the grid for a little bit and really don't tell anybody exactly what you're doing. I think it is so much more impactful if you can change and improve and people see that, instead of you telling them this is your game plan and this is what you're going to do. I just think that when it comes to achieving your goals, you don't have to tell everybody exactly what you're doing. And when that finally comes into fruition, then you can really celebrate and enjoy your accomplishments with others. Psalm 32:8 is a verse from the Bible and the book of Psalms that really just centers around trusting in God more so than your emotions, and really just using Him as the true guidance in your life. You just need to make sure that you, at the end of the day, remember what your main goal is that you're working toward. And when you have that in mind, then it can be so much less tempting to fall into distraction of emotions and what you actually are feeling in the moment. It's so much more better for you to just say, okay, I know that I'm not feeling like I want to work out right now, but I'm going to, because at the end of the day, I know it's going to make me strong. I know it's going to make me who I want to be. And I know that I'm doing it to better myself for God. And I think that when you do that, that is when change really starts to happen. One of the last notes that I wanted to bring up in this video is the idea that when you are locking in, you really need to just keep in touch with your reasonings for why you want to fully really better yourself and work on showing up as the best and healthiest version of you. We can really get distracted by trying to seek the approval or attention from other people. It's just so important to affirm that you are doing all of this to better yourself and feel more confident, more sure of who you actually are. So that is essentially everything that I wanted to go over today and just all of the changes that I'm trying to incorporate into my life. I also just wanted to remind you that progress isn't linear and nothing is perfect. So do try to give yourself a little bit of grace, and I promise you, you will do just fine. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.